Hello, it's me. So I was just thinking about another story that I've told a few people, and it's about parenting because, if there's anything I know a lot about, it's parenting. But this is a story of two fathers. Now, the first one, I won't use real names because at the slim chance that somebody other than my couple of Facebook friends and family that watch this, it's then someone else might see it and they'll know who I'm talking about. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but anyway, the one day, this is when I was working in the library, and this guy came in to get some copies or something, or maybe fax something, and I asked him about his one son, and I said, how's Fred? And he said, oh, he's doing good. He just had a baby, and then he goes, but did I tell you about Bob? And that would be the other son. And he graduated now, and he got this job, and he's doing this, and he's doing that, and I'm like, I hardly knew Bob. And I asked you about, did I say Frank? And he just switched the subject because, I guess Frank wasn't impressive enough. Now, compare this to another father I knew. You're waiting for me to say it's my father, right? It's not. Anyway, this one I'll use the real names. His, as I always knew him, Mr. Jazzwack. He was actually my Boy Scout troop leader. And he had a son that was like a couple years older than me, that I have no idea why, but he was always called Scrudge. He was good friends with my brother, so I knew Scrudge well too. But Scrudge never did well in school. And it's not because he was dumb. It's because back in those days, schools, public schools, especially schools like good old PO out here in the sticks, they didn't know nothing about dyslexia. Which, by the way, I always thought, dyslexia, Dyslexia, isn't that just like a cruel joke to play on somebody that has it? You go, oh, this is what you have. They'll look at that and it's just garbage to them. But anyway, Scrudge had dyslexia, so he didn't do too well. So this day, Mr. Jazz came in the library and he wanted to Xerox a magazine article. I think it might have been Newsweek. But the article rather prominently mentioned one of his other sons, who worked for a company that was a NASA subcontractor, and it had to do with his work on the space shuttle. And we talked about that for a few minutes, because it's pretty cool, How many actual rocket scientists do you know? Rhetorical question. I know you don't bother answering because I can't hear you. Anyway, we talked about him for a while, and then I said to him, how's Scrudge doing? Because Scrudge had moved out west not long, I think, after high school. And I think he lived in Wyoming, which, great place for him because he was always an outdoorsman. Anyway, I said, so how's Scrudge doing? He said, oh, he's doing really well. He said, he's been taking these classes at the university that are for people with dyslexia, and he's now reading that, and I think he's at an 8th grade level. It could have been 6th grade level. But he had just as much pride in his voice for Scrudge improving his reading as he did for the other son being written up in a magazine for working for NASA. So this is just a little tip for you parents out there: is be a Mr. Jazzwack. love all your kids equally. And I'm not saying that the other father didn't love his kid, but be just as proud. You know, you have a son who's a rocket scientist, and another one's a lawnmower repairman. Be proud of both of them. That's about all I gotta say. Just Mr. and Mrs. Jaswick were both great people. They were a lot of fun to talk to, nicest people in the world. They're both gone now. But I'll just leave you with that. Thanks.